we're back in the cave, the trading cave. I went and visited, obviously, Bangkok for 2 days to link up with another trader, and now we are back in business. Only went for the weekend. How is work on your announced hedge fund going on? Yes, so with that, it is a big process to get things set up and also to find investors as well, which is not a problem, but actually doing the paperwork to get things set up is the bigger side of things. To make things legal, because I can't just have people that want to, say, invest and then they want me to trade with their personal capital. It's not that easy. So obviously with the paperwork down and in place, then it would make it easier. And that's the way that I'll be able to build capital a lot faster, with hitting the prop firm limit, and also my live account is growing by the month. Where are you based at the moment? I'm currently down in Pattaya, Thailand. I spent a lot of time down in Miami, Dubai, Texas, New York, LA, loads of different spots, but currently actually in Thailand and using a fighting gym down here a little bit, getting more in with that. I'm not actually currently training Muay Thai at the moment. I did Muay Thai for quite a few months and I just kept finding myself getting quite bad knees and injured knees, you know, from Muay Thai light sparring and also the training. So I've now just taken on boxing instead. I find it more fun, and I actually would rather enter a boxing fight than a Muay Thai fight, because you don't actually know who you'd be fighting if you was to enter a Muay Thai fight. It could be someone with 200 fights under their belt. So I would happily enter a boxing fight though. Hiding from police in Thailand with that last video. What happened in the last video? Where are you originally from? I'm half Italian and half from the UK, but I was born in the UK and I've lived in the UK my whole life. Milo, there was a time when you stopped the live streams. Why? Because it was at a point where every single day almost felt like, essentially, you could say a job, where the same questions and silly questions were getting asked every single day, and I needed to sit back, reevaluate, and kind of have a bit of peace to myself, where I wasn't answering questions 24/7. But now I've adapted and I'm in a very good, headspace to actually answer everyone's questions that anyone has to post inside of the chat. It's not a problem at all. So I just wanted, to take something where I'm monitoring price. I was able to scale up my accounts even more than what they were previously as well. And now everyone is back on the streams. Currently we are sitting up around 5 hours since opening and trading live, so you guys are eating good. I know we haven't taken that many trades since we obviously have started streaming, but that's exactly how it is. We will take 3-4 days where we don't take a position, but like you guys seen, we closed last week for a profit. We closed the week before -1R, and the week before that plus 2.2R. So we are up nicely. Last month we closed out for a 7R profit last month, so that was a just above average month. Okay, I usually close each month around 5-6R. Last month was just above average. Considering we took little to no positions, we still closed the month very, very clean. I'm going to be taking a payout from my live account tonight, expecting that to hit within around 4 or 5 days. Trade of 8 tends to take a little bit of time to actually withdraw and process it into whatever currency you withdraw. And also a top step payout. How long it took you to get your first payout with this model, and how long it took you to get your first 100k? Okay, so my first payout I received after trading ICT for 6 months. A lot of you guys have heard this kind of from the start to the finish many times. And the second payout, it took me 4 more months after my first payout to reach the second. So there's a big gap, big window there. Hopefully that gives some clarity, is that I didn't get my first payout within watching half the 2022 mentorship. I was there for 6 months, and essentially I was all in with ICT at the time. Okay, when I was starting off and I was working the security shifts, I was on the way to the security shift. I used to take the bus. The bus was a 1 hour journey to the security shift, and in that 1 hour I was watching ICT. When I got to the shift, it was a 12-hour shift from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. I was watching ICT. And when I was coming back from the shift at 6 a.m, I was watching ICT. When I went to sleep at 7 a.m, I woke up at around 2 p.m. UK time. I would then trade ICT. I'd finish trading ICT at 5 p.m, I'll get on the bus and watch ICT. And then I would do another shift and watch ICT. So there was nothing with my life at the time until I reached my first payout. And then once I got to my second payout, that's when I was already sacked from the job anyway, and then I just took a flight and I left. I was done. Trust me, I was sick enough from that job to the point where I didn't really care about anything else. And when you come to the point when you actually stop being a, uncontrollable person with your accounts, irresponsible, right? Full porting and taking trades outside of macro and outside of the model, then that's when you're really going to see the progress. It starts now. You don't do any of that bullshit anymore. Okay? You look for positions that are valid. Doesn't matter if you're on an eval or you're on a funded account. If you're on Apex, okay, cool, you have a pass. If you're on Top Step, Take Profit, My Funded Futures, Alpha Futures, Tradeify, any of those prop firms, you are trading your eval using risk management eval section, and you're trading it normally, and you will pass. Your funded risk management plan will then apply once you're funded. And you get paid. Just like the certificate section in this Discord. There is the payments. Right now we're in the window between RF, which is the red folder news. Okay, it's in a minute and 30 seconds. So we don't take positions between 9:55 and 10 a.m. news, because if you do, it doesn't give enough time for the trade to actually play in favor or play to your stop. I'll delete this. Yeah, so as I said, failed displacement, price usually seeks liquidity, which it did, and it seeked London lows, okay? And we will reevaluate our bias at 10 a.m. as well. Now, 10 a.m. can cause two things, the news. It would either cause manipulation or shift in market structure after manipulation has occurred. We have seen manipulation occur. Now, doesn't say 10 a.m. won't take out this low again. So it would either take out this low, or it would cause a shift. And a shift here would be a valid opportunity for longs if it follows with our bias. Okay, so the 5-minute bias is bullish, remains the same. The 15-minute is bullish, so it remains the same. Now we only need one more time frame. There you go. Hourly has shifted from bearish. It met the draw of being bearish to now bullish. The 4-hour time frame remains the same, and the daily we're not going to check because it remains the same. So we have an 80% bullish bias. In 3 seconds, if we see a shift higher, without taking this high, guys. Okay, so we don't want to take this high. So that's obviously the news. It's not really done too much. So with a shift in market structure higher, we do not want to see it take out this high, as that would invalidate the trade. So shifting above these highs is perfectly fine. So the news at 10 a.m. pretty much had little to no impact. So it's just a small manipulation below the low for 10 a.m. CPI is the best for passing evals. Well, only on Apex, you know. You can't do this on any other prop firm. Taking a payout with Apex, you need 8 trading days in a profit above, I believe, $50. Balloon-Ox you can. Never heard of that prop firm in my life. Alpha Future zero accounts. Well, the thing is with the zero accounts, instead of the advanced plan, is when you are funded, they have consistency on the funded, I believe, and also less of a payout for you as a trader. You're getting 70% instead of 90%. The advanced plan is what is best, and that's what I went for on Alpha Futures. Yeah, but you're not going to want to be trading news anyway on your funded account, so that's not really an option that we even pay attention to. We don't trade news. $191 people in the stream. You guys are locked in. You guys are locked in for November. Now, last November we had a losing month. Let's see how we performed during this November. The 2 Novembers previous to last, I closed out in a very strong profit. Yeah, where's Testosterone? Is he in the gym? He's got his whole bag trading setup desk on wheels today. He's currently 5 reps into bench. Okay, so bearish order block, okay. Currently acting as a bearish confluence. Inversing that with a shift higher. That's going to be the unicorn model. We took the low, bearish order block, inverse, breaker block. If that's paired with a gap, okay. So I'm just pointing this out to you guys so you get more familiar with this. More times you see it, you are going to become, what's the word? Not a genius. You just become the best. That's what we do. Many of you guys, well, pretty much all of you guys, got misleaded over social media and YouTube from other people, you know, so it has been difficult to learn ICT the correct way and really get a model down on, you know, steps that you can rely on, okay, without backtesting and backtesting for years and years, when I've just laid this out all in front of you guys. And what's your worst month this year? I would say it was January of this year. I closed it relatively break even, or around -1R. January of this year was pretty slow for me, to be honest. Apart from that, everything really picked up from January. As I say, January's a hit and miss month. It's either a very clean month or it's relatively slow. So obviously that bearish order block acted as a bearish confluence, and now we have put in another one. Yeah, it's pretty mad. I know it's pretty off topic. I just received a message saying that it's my sister's birthday. But it's one of those things that I still believe my sister's like 13, you know what I mean? But apparently she's turned 19 today, which is pretty mad. Crazy stuff, you know? I'll have to send her half the payout that I take later. Any particular months in the year we need to stay cautious trading? No, there's no months that you should sit there and, you know, twiddle your fingers or toes. Every single month is a tradable month, and when you're looking at Forex Factory, the days that we do not trade, you guys already know. And if you don't, I will write it on the screen right now. We do not trade FOMC official day. Sets. Red. Folder. Free sets. Red folder on Forex Factory, okay? We do not trade Thursday NFP. NFP comes out on Friday. We do not trade the Thursday, we trade the Friday, okay? Because Thursday anticipates and is very unalgorithmic with price anticipating Friday. And when Friday is released at 8:30 AM New York time before the open, Friday's a very much good and tradable day. Thursday NFP, Friday release. Okay. What other days? Bank holiday. USD only. It appears as a grey folder. We do trade FOMC meeting minutes, so that's just one set red folder news. We do trade that. The difference between the two, unanticipated, we don't know what's coming out in this event. Okay, this one's pre-recorded, already factored in for price. It's very much tradable day. This one is Jerome Powell live speech. No one knows. That is everything there. Take a screenshot, take a note down. I'll leave it there for a minute. We trading this Thursday. Let's take a look. Guys, as of now, we're anticipating a shift in market structure higher. Okay. Got around 6 minutes left of the macro. For those of you that essentially are newer to the Discord, then make sure to really take all the value outside of each one of these channels inside of the Discord, because there's not only, there you go, we're starting to get some sort of energy for price here. Okay. As far as the channels inside of the Discord, we have sections which will benefit you massively. I'm going to delete this off now. If you didn't manage to take a photo in 30 seconds, then that is a mental problem. So inside of the Discord, we have channels such as the crypto section, the real estate section, 0% tax, which is still being worked on, the superhuman guide. So you guys are actually waking up, you are starting your days and winning the morning and winning the day. Okay, so that's very essential, the superhuman guide. Sounds pretty weird and crazy. Right now, guys, there's no shift in market structure on NQ or ES, so we're still waiting for that. Okay. Still respecting the bearish order block, in fact. Still a bearish confluence for price to draw lower. So, the crypto section, I give you all of my long-term crypto plays that I am currently in, so feel free to go into that section and see what position I'm currently in, which is a Bitcoin short, and I have been for the past 2.5 months. Okay, I've been in the Bitcoin short for 2.5 months. Okay, so the real estate section is all of the real estate deals that I do in Dubai, and I only do real estate deals in Dubai, and I have done in Miami, but in the future and scaling up is fully over in Dubai. The next purchase in Dubai, I was speaking with a one-to-one, someone that I'm currently mentoring from previously, and no, the mentorships are not open, people can't actually, you know, join or whatever, but we was discussing yesterday villas in Dubai. And the next purchase is going to be an off-plan villa, so I've been looking into that. Okay, so a shift on ES but no shift on NQ here. I'm not interested. I want to see a shift on NQ which occurs above this high. And then also, apart from the crypto, real estate, 0% tax, superhuman guide, those ones are at the bottom of the Discord. At the top, these are the ones that you're going to be managing your accounts and understanding the model with. So we have the risk management eval, risk management for when you're funded, prop firms, so where to start with prop firms so you can actually get to 20k per trade. It's very easily achievable, and I've put that there for you guys that are looking to build up to that or even work past that, because 20k is essentially the starting goal but not your finish. Okay, you'll be making way more than that. The scaling plan is also there, so when you're funded you're then scaling up for more. Account management, to manage your account when it goes into a slight bit of drawdown, that's only in regards to a funded account. And then the checklist is my full entry requirements to entering inside of a position. Okay. Alright, so NQ's just shifted market structure, and same with ES, and we've inversed a bearish order block, okay, on ES, which is paired with the gap. Check the 5. Not taking any 5-minute high on NQ. As I said, this is the draw, okay, so we do not want to take this high. We have this order block inversed paired with a gap which is forming on NQ. We're going to be looking for an entry if we do get a gap here. Now the gap, no trade here guys, no trade. So there's no trade. I know some of you guys get quite close to taking an entry sometimes, right? But ES closed up the gap, so no gap on ES is a no-go. It is one of our requirements to have a gap on both. So when it comes to the entry side of things, when I'm monitoring price, okay, closer towards the entry, as the gap is forming, if I see that close up on one of the assets, then that's instantly no position. So what you can see here, we shifted structure, okay, but didn't form the gap. This gap is not part of the shift. Shifted here, failed to create a gap and hold above the shifted market structure. That is the idea behind having a gap on NQ and ES, is that if price is going to shift structure, but then close up the gap and not keep the gap in place, this is then essentially a failed shift in market structure, if that makes sense. So if price is going to shift structure, it needs to be enough of an energetic shift in order to leave a fair value gap behind, which it didn't on ES. Therefore, ES is essentially the weaker asset, not holding that bullish gap there. So that's why we don't take any position. Bro, can you say that again? Yes, so when price is shifting market structure above the high, okay, if we do not leave a fair value gap with the shift, hence on ES we closed up the gap. So we was forming a bullish gap, as you guys seen, but it closed up. Obviously it didn't form. So that means that the shift in market structure here is more of a sweep of a short-term high than an actual price is shifting market structure, if that makes sense. So it's not had the energy to stay above and stay at a higher price to form the gap. It's just obviously took the high and it's drawn back, if that makes sense. Okay, and this is the end of the macro. So we are waiting towards the second AM macro. So 10:45. So as we near into the second AM macro, what I would like to see, okay, is an accumulation period up towards second AM. Second step of manipulation to take out a point of minor sell side, and then we can just look for longs. So it didn't form inside the first AM, but I'd be looking for that during the second AM. Okay. Do you enter the fair value gap even though it was not paired with the inversed order block? Yes. So essentially, when we see a fair value gap, if price shifts market structure, let me show you guys an example on my screen. Shift a high. Let's say we shift above this high. Let's say we create a bullish gap and a bullish gap, and let's say we have right here is a up close candle and a down close to engulf it. Bearish order block, right? So with price closing above this area, this inversed order block, which price now closed above, okay, forming these bullish gaps. The inverse order block is paired with the gap lower. This gap is not paired with the order block. This is your question, okay? We still enter off this gap as the first presented gap. So you'd see people, myself, write FPF, first presented gap. You would take your entry off this gap. The model itself, shifted structure, a separate gap is still paired with an inverse order block, which is either a breaker or mitigation, right? So breaker or mitigation paired with the gap. The gap you're entering from doesn't have it paired with it. But with the model, we still have it paired with the lower gap, which is fine. So hopefully that answers your question and makes sense. So the gap you're entering from does not need to have an order block inverse paired with it. It just needs to have it amongst one of the gaps on the displacement. This gap here did not displace, and this was not part of the leg displacement because it failed on NQ. It displaced above this high on NQ, and this gap was paired with an order block, but on ES, the shift did not form a gap. I know it might sound complicated to some of you guys in the beginning stages, but really it isn't. And the more times you backtest and review this model, it is very easy. Very easy. There is other ICT traders in the space, okay, that you may watch, and their model is very simplistic, but they don't make any money. That's the difference, okay? So we're here to make money, and we have a model that is very much solid and in place. Unlike other people, I'll reference one person you guys probably already know, but a sweep of liquidity and an inverse fair value gap, and they're in, okay? So we don't take positions like that. See, seen who, what, when, Sean already knows. Legit just saw 3 other ICT live streamers take that trade and they all lost money. Well, they didn't do their studies. So the fair value gap has to be paired with the displacement all the time regardless, unless we get a second fair value gap. The fair value gap must be a part of the displacement leg on both NQ and ES. Yes, that's correct. We can't have a fair value gap behind the displacement leg and say that's part of this shift. You know, that's what happened today. This gap's not part of the shift. Shifted here. Okay. I bought some very nice cigars in Bangkok, guys. I recommend these ones as we're between the macros. Obviously nothing as of now. The name of these cigars, I do recommend, they're very smooth. They are QUA Qual Dorsey Habana Cuban cigars. 1010 they are. I've got 6 left. They're pretty reasonable as well. They're not like, you know, $1,000 a cigar. There's no point going to that extreme. I paid for the box, you know, I bought 10 of them, about £650. It's about $800. Very reasonable for a quality cigar. Milo, brother, you need to come out to Cuba and get some... Now that is a good idea, but I hear Cuba's quite dangerous, no? Might have to get some security if I go there. For those of you obviously watching the stream as of now, okay, last week we did the exact same thing. The week before we did the exact same thing. There is countless, you're going to see it many times, countless people, ICT traders, getting stopped out left, right and centre, all-time highs. Whether you're ranging in price, they are taking anything with a shift, okay? We take less trades, but we take things that coincide with our model. I've been to Cuba, it was a nice trip. Nice, yeah, I mean, I've never been, so I'll have to take your word for it. Even the Cubans in Cuba, I heard, are fake cigars. Easy to get scammed if you're a tourist, but that's anywhere. Yeah. If you're a tourist, we know they're always going to abuse. Especially in third world places, you know. Bitcoin's currently down 3% today, 3.1, whatever. It's obviously starting to push out of that daily model. We had on the daily time frame a shift in market structure, an inverse of a bullish order block. Took the all-time highs, swept it multiple times. Simple stuff. We got V5 NNY with some lovely cigars there. Do you trade leverage Bitcoin or do you have a spot position for long-term holds? Okay, so I'm currently in a 2x leverage, 15% of my portfolio short on Bitcoin. The whole position is inside of the Discord, so you guys capitalize not only from the positions that we take live in the Nasdaq, but also of the positions outside in the crypto section. Scroll to the top, you'll see it. When I posted the entry inside of the group, originally priced at around 115k Bitcoin, so a lot of you guys caught a short around 115, trading at 107. We're aiming for $75,000 Bitcoin. There are so many confluences on to why price on Bitcoin is going to seek lower prices. You'd have to have a mental problem if you was to have a time of day to research and use the given tools that I've put inside of the Discord, inside of the crypto section. You can very easily utilize that and understand yourself on my thought process to why I took a short. Good question. Which broker do I use to trade crypto? So if I'm taking a short, I always use Binance, and if I'm taking a spot long, I will take it inside of my Trezor in my cold wallet. If I'm using leverage at any point, leverage longs, leverage shorts, I use Binance. Otherwise, I use the Trezor. Thoughts on Ethereum? Well, Ethereum's not really something to pay attention to anymore. It's died off and been killed off by many other altcoins. So it is good for essentially taking shorts. You know, if you're going to short Bitcoin, Ethereum's going to be very much correlated and essentially do 1.5, 2x more damage on Ethereum. Okay, I did take a Ethereum long this year in April. You know, I took an Ethereum long April this year when I was in Spain. I went long at around $1,300 Ethereum, sold at 4.5k. So that was a clean position, 4 to 6 month turnover. Are you in crypto for a long time? Yes. So I'll be planning on exiting my Bitcoin short, estimated around latest March, April of next year. That's around my estimate time date, and I go break even anyway on the Bitcoin position once we take around 98,000 area. Current liquidation's at 220k. It's free money, guys. Free. I don't hold no stocks. I have no gold. I have no Bitcoin. Nothing. Only real estate at the moment. And then once the market prices into more of a discount, then I'll be interested. But I'm not buying a loaf of bread at $10. Thank you very much. You'd have to have lost your mind. So you're buying gold at $4,000 an ounce, whatever it's priced at. Yeah, Bitcoin's down 4% now. Any plans on doing a crypto guide video or something along those lines? Well, I definitely could do it. It would be quite an intensive video. But essentially the way that I monitor the crypto space is only taking positions on Bitcoin and Ethereum. I do not touch Solana, I don't touch XRP, I don't touch ADA, Cardano, I don't touch any of the altcoins below that, okay? I only trade Bitcoin and Ethereum. They're the ones to easily predict, okay? And I'll explain one thing about, the crypto space is liquidation. If you understand liquidation, then you've got it all, essentially, and there's a lot more that goes to it. I'm not trying to beat around the bush, but I don't want to explain my whole thought process to entering a Bitcoin short. I will have to make a video on it, guys. I will have to make a private video for you guys about it. Essentially with, the leverage side of things is that it will cause Bitcoin to have these minus 10%, minus 15% days, pretty normal. And no, it's not Trump tweeting and saying different things. It does affect price, but naturally, Bitcoin's going to draw towards liquidation. Yeah, longs are obviously getting liquidated as we speak. Yeah, simple stuff. It's not too easy for me to explain over a live stream without boring you guys to death. 6 years of my experience. But I can definitely very easily put it inside of a put together video that I'll put in the crypto section for you guys. I've put majority of the guidance in the crypto section. You guys can actually, flick through it and see. What about XS platform? Do you trade? What does that mean? What about XS? Is that even a platform? What is that? Is that a broker or what? I said I only use Binance. What's your risk management for your live account? Tradeovate Live or my crypto live? Do you hold any crypto? Did you just join the stream? Yeah, I'm in a Bitcoin short at the moment. Yeah, brother, so AFF, we was just discussing inside of the stream about the overall crypto portfolio and the position that I have at the moment. It's all good, brother, if you just joined the stream. Yeah, so we were just discussing about that. We're currently inside of a Bitcoin short, which I've been holding for the past 2.5 months, and that's how it always goes. My positions minimum are usually around a 6 month basis. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, brothers. It's all good. Yeah, so the trade of eight, I risk on average at the moment around $10,000 per trade. Now it's relatively nothing compared to the balance of 670-ish K at the moment. So I would essentially be upping my risk shortly. And I do treat my Trade of 8 live account as more of a savings account rather than increasing it to say a 1% or a higher risk in regards to the account. But I will be upping the risk, and I run my crypto portfolio, which is a similar balance as well, and I treat my crypto portfolio just as well as my Trade of 8 live account, because vice versa, I make 50% both ways of my yearly earnings from both crypto and trading futures. So I'm very, you could say, skilled in both sectors, and that's the only things I ever focus on. I don't focus my time on anything else. I couldn't care less whether someone buys, whatever. My main focus is trading the Nasdaq futures, which doesn't take much of my time or focus because it's the same approach every single day, and the crypto space is something that I monitor. So that takes more of my time. Not too much of my time, but more of my time than futures. And then as far as real estate, just park the money off. That's all it is. When your portfolios build slightly, say, a little bit high inside of the season of not purchasing Bitcoin, or you're not purchasing assets, okay, like now, everything's priced too high. The Nasdaq's at 26k, almost hit 27. Bitcoin was at 126k. Gold's at all-time highs. I'm not buying anything. So I'm moving money out into real estate. Not too much, but I'm moving it over into real estate. I need to get shisha in this apartment as well. I'm gonna get an AK-47 diamond shisha. Seen one for it's not actually diamond, probably like some sort of like glass or whatever. But what's your goal for the real estate portfolio? I would say around 15, 20 villas in Dubai. That's my goal. Right now I've acquired 3 units, so 17 more to go, and the other 17 that I acquire, I want them all to be villas. Same with you guys as well. This is exactly the roadmap. As what I do is what you do, okay? So there's no difference between me and you. Nothing. Unless you've lost all of your limbs, there's no difference. You may have lost one, you're not lost them all. Why have you not thought about doing short-term rentals in Dubai? Because the apartment the one that I just secured, the 2 units in Safagate 2 in Business Bay, those units, once ready in 2029, so it's 4 years, I will forget in the process about them, and you just pay 1% per month for them. And those units are residential units, so they'd have to go onto a long-term rental once they're ready. When you ended your streaming service prior to this, what was helping you get back into a good headspace before coming back? I mean, my headspace was fine, but at the time it felt like more of a job, where essentially the same questions about how to manage a 50k funded account have been asked to me about 3 or 4 times per New York session, and I was losing my mind. But what I've done with this Discord is you guys have all of the information, and if someone does want risk management as far as that, and those of you that were watching me in the past, you'd remember there would be people asking about very tedious questions, but the tedious questions have already been answered inside of the Discord section that is fully set up, and everyone has access to all of the different channels here. And there is many skilled people inside of this Discord as well, which would be willing to answer questions that maybe I don't have time on the stream to answer, which is inside of the questions and general chat section there. Oh yes, there is no pause with the live streams. Unless there is some sort of instant death on my end, which there won't be. I don't ask silly questions, brother. Do I play the PS5? No. Milo, once you scale to a 4.5k buffer and you're risking $600 per trade, is that the max, or do you scale up further? Well, I don't advise you scale up further than that, because if you was to move to a live account, etc., on that prop firm, there is not much of a difference between you scaling up even more than that, to be honest. So I'd leave it at 4.5, stay at that, and just acquire more capital and build your live account. With you working with multiple prop firms, say 5, 6, 7 prop firms, you're going to be making 100 to 150k a trade anyway. Your concern is not going to be about scaling up from there. You just be parking it into your live account, and long behold, your $1 million, $1.5, $2 million live account crypto portfolio will be in the works. Alright, it's bias time, okay? So we do our bias 5 minutes before each macro. We will start by updating the 5. Bearish. You just take to the left. Yeah, bearish. Swept London lows, both assets. 15-minute time frame. Okay, so we have a Friday to Sunday open, new week opening gap. Trades quite close to it. ES probably traded into it. It did, yeah. Got inversed. So we build our bias off NQ. Bias is bullish on the 15, so remains the same. Bullish, bullish. Hourly is bullish, bullish bias overall. 4-hour time frame, 10 a.m. close. We got that 4-hour bullish gap, makes 4-hour bullish. Daily's bullish, 100% bullish bias. We are currently seeing a shift in market structure, which invalidates the trade from this high. This one. It's not invalid as of now. It's perfectly fine. Oh yes, it is raining outside. Sometimes it's nice to see a bit of rain. Alright, so right now we have no shift in market structure on ES. Okay, so nothing. A shift on NQ, an inverse order block paired with a gap, but no shift on ES. Let's wait and see. Let me delete this, make chart a little bit cleaner. Simple stuff. Isn't the 1029 candle on ES a breaker? Well, whether it took a 1 minute low or not, which I can see that it didn't, maybe to the left it did. It's either a breaker or a mitigation, that's correct, yes, because it got inversed and it's not paired with any gap. Right now, ES has no shift higher in market structure. There is no short-term highs put in place here. There is on NQ, but no shift on ES. So that's why we're not taking a position at the start of the macro. Why was that not a shift in market structure on ES? Because ES put in no short-term high. Did not shift. Let me turn this AC down a little bit. I think it is that time to place an order for a double pasta dish. Right now there is no positions to take. ES is shifting, okay, and NQ is shifting market structure as of now, but is now taking this high on ES. How long can you stay in Thailand? Well, I mean, at the moment, I'm just, in case I do stay longer than expected, I don't really know, I'm securing a 5-year visa here. Someone's doing it for me, so essentially, yes, you can just stay here for as long as you like. The funny thing is, with prop firm payouts, you can stay in any country for as long as you like, anywhere in the world. You know, there is no actual place in this world. Maybe only certain very strict countries, but majority of countries in this world you can just buy your way into, like the US. You can buy your way into the US, Dubai, Thailand. Visa wise, anyway, you can just move. They set limits on, you know, entry or tourist visas because they know essentially these people will go homeless. But if you purchase an apartment or invest enough into the country, you can essentially live anywhere. Yeah, it's 3 months, yeah. So for Thailand, it is 3 months with a tourist visa. You just pull up with your UK passport or US passport. You will just get 3 months upon entry, yeah. That's pretty much it. You ever travel to any other Asian countries? I mean, you know, what do you guys recommend? What do you think I should do? I was thinking about Japan. You know, do you think I should go to Japan or no? What do you think? Bali? Japan? What about some street racing in Japan? What do you think? GTR? Vietnam, they treat... Nah, I'm not going Vietnam. That place really doesn't... I don't know what it is. That doesn't appeal to me. It's too... It's actually too... Like, it's actually too cheap. Why, the people that I've seen go Vietnam, they've just gone there because they're falling apart, and I don't want to be a part of it. Morocco, I've been to Morocco. I went to Morocco. Do you have a chef? I've had a chef in many parts of the world that I've been to. Miami, Mexico. I had a chef in both those areas. But as of now, no, I just order it. Will you still be in Thailand at Christmas? Maybe not for... No, not for Christmas. I'm going to be in Dubai. And I will be... Yeah, I'll be in Dubai for Christmas. Most likely for the New Year's. Yeah, I think the two next steps, well, the three next steps would be Japan, China, and Australia. Apart from that, I'm not really too interested in the other places. I think Singapore will be quite nice to go to as well. Is it safe in Morocco? I mean, the experience that I got whilst I was in Morocco is, you know, I don't want to be racist to Moroccan people, but I did get quite harassed. I'd say I got harassed, you know, by some of the locals there for me not really looking Moroccan at all. You know, they do harass you a little bit to donate. It depends what area you're in, right? But I didn't. I only went to Morocco because Spain went out of electricity and I couldn't trade the market open. Whilst I was in Spain, I was in Marbella, and the electricity went out in Spain, and I thought, fuck this. I went Morocco for electricity for the market open. Okay, I was in Morocco for a few days, and I got kind of harassed, and I left. So I didn't really like Morocco. I'd actually put it as one of. I didn't really like it. I don't want to say too much. I don't want to offend people. You know what I mean? I didn't really like Turkey too much either. They're my two places I didn't really like myself. That's just a personal preference, though. I think Greece. Yeah, Greece is a beautiful place. Nothing happened in Turkey. Just not really my type of vibe. There's too many English people there, and I didn't really like the food. I was just eating, kebabs and chicken strips the whole day. Not really my type of thing. Greece is absolutely amazing. Greek salads, the salads there are unbelievable. It's a really nice place to go in Greece. Yeah, Cyprus. I love Cyprus. Cyprus is amazing. There's a lot of it. Don't get me wrong. Cyprus is basically English. The whole island's basically full of English people. But I really like Cyprus. Very free place. It's very small. You can get around quickly. I love it. Spain, Portugal, 10-10. Mallorca's 10-10 as well, if you go in the summer. Egypt. I've never been to Egypt, but I know people have been and they've absolutely loved it. I went to France quite a while back. South of France is nice, but I think other parts of France are just falling to bits. So right now we have a sweep of minor buy side, which invalidates longs, okay? I haven't been to France in a long time. Apparently they're taking away the Eiffel Tower. Is that true? They're binning it, or they didn't pay their lease, so I don't know. It'll be gone soon. A very good place to go to would be the Bahamas, Very nice resorts out there. How do you show proof of income when purchasing real estate loan, making money from prop firms? Well, you just show your income, and it really depends where you're purchasing real estate. But in Dubai, if you're purchasing with a developer, you don't really need that much proof of income, to be honest. You just need to provide, say, some proof that you have obviously funds there and that you're not going to kind of fail on the way through. But if you're working with a bank, then they're going to ask for 2-3 years of bank statements. Yeah, Brazil's good, but it's pretty dangerous in some areas, and it's a bit third world. Get your phone robbed. It's got a nice beach, helicopter and different things, but not really my type of place, Brazil, to be honest. In Brazil, when I went there, I was paying about £15,000 a month for an apartment in a third world country. So, yeah. I had a good time. Just wouldn't really stay there for the long term. Market open at 10:30 a.m. in Brazil. It's quite nice. It's better than Miami, 9:30. Better than Texas, 8:30. Better than Phoenix. I like Phoenix, Phoenix, just the time zone really lets that place down. 6:30 a.m. market open. You gotta be a bit insane for that. Much prefer Phoenix over LA though. As of now, speaking about price, we are shifted, but we've taken points of buy side, okay? Bearish SMT currently stands in NQ. We want to see price reseek sell side, and then we can look for a model for longs. All of this is just nothing for us to take. Yeah, there's a lot of white girls in Arizona. Blonde. No, you won't really find any Latinas there. They're in LA. You'll find in Arizona, you'll find... Yeah. It's great for getting a tan. Arizona in the summer, but that's about it. Yeah, Scottsdale, yeah. That's where I stayed. I was in Scottsdale for about a month. Then I went between Scottsdale, Vegas and LA, and San Diego for about a couple of months, and I bounced to Colombia and Mexico, and then Miami, then UK. God knows. Who remembers? How did I like San Diego? I think San Diego is a beautiful place. Honestly do. I think it is the very kind of underrated place in the US, not really spoken about. Everyone says Miami, LA and New York, but San Diego is a very peaceful place, you know. The weather's consistent, well, pretty much. Yeah, it's nice there. It's very peaceful in San Diego. I think, for example, someone who's 35 years old plus would have a great time to live in San Diego, but someone who is under the age of 35 doesn't want to live there because it's more of a retirement or too peaceful. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you've got a family, I actually think that's probably one of the best places to bring up a family is in San Diego in the US. Yeah. Or Scottsdale, you know, Phoenix and San Diego. Miami's kind of hectic, especially if you've got a family going on. You know, might find it a bit much. I've kind of gone off Miami, to be honest. I much prefer Dubai. Not to say I won't go back to Miami, but I think Florida's, yeah, it's pretty overrated. It's becoming a bit washed up. Do you like waking up early for the New York session in the west coast of the US? Absolutely not. My brain doesn't really operate too well in the mornings. Not to say I haven't, you know, performed well whilst I've been out there. I've performed very well and received many payouts. But as far as, you know, waking up in the morning, it's not really my preference. How much money do you need to live relatively normally in Dubai? Well, I would say if you're making $10,000 a month in Dubai, you can live a normal lifestyle. Not extreme, normal. You'll be taking halal taxis or whatever they call them, or you could get a hire car, which is nothing too crazy, like a Nissan, and you can have an apartment there for about 2.5k a month for one bedroom, or about 2k a month one bedroom, or even a studio. You'd have a gym membership, you'd be eating good food, you know, the rest of it will just be spent. I reckon, yeah, $10,000 a month, you could live normal in Dubai, normal. If you want to live nice in Dubai, or get more extreme, where you have a nice car, you have a 2-3 bedroom apartment in a nice building, a good location, I would say that's now around $60,000 to $80,000 a month. And if you want to start purchasing real estate whilst you're out there as well, and building a whole portfolio and really scaling everything up at the same time, about 100, that'll put you in a very nice position. About 100k a month. Once you surpass that, then you can start putting everything to the side. That only applies to a single person, right? Well, I mean, if you got a girl as well, she's not really going to take up too much space. It would still be a one-bedroom apartment. Um, if you're going with your friend and you want it to be a non-gay scenario and you're obviously having two beds, then if you're both kind of splitting everything 50-50 and you have a good friend, 50k each a month, you'll be living good in Dubai. But yeah, as a single person, 10k a month, it'd be fine. Just don't do anything extreme, You really can't actually even go out maybe once a week for a meal. Where would you recommend first destination to avoid paying a lot of taxes? Well, I mean, Dubai would be the best option. That's where the money's flowing to because of it. And you could set up your accounts in the Caribbean. It's getting worked on in the Discord at the moment. So Milo, if one lives in Dubai, will still have to pay taxes and consider personal income, Canada or the States? Well, no. So essentially, as soon as you leave the States and you are now in Dubai, as soon as you create your bank account in Dubai and your future income is then put onto and sent to your sent as AED, so sent to your your Dubai bank account, okay, that is now put into the tax bracket of what then you'd be paying. Anything that you earned previously into your US accounts would then be paid under US tax. And after being 180 days outside of the US, it would then put you a non-resident, a non-tax resident of the US. Okay. It sounds like the Bible, yeah. Yeah. What's that Chinese? Obviously, there's no trades as of now, and I told you guys that price is obviously taken minor buy side, and there is no positions for us to take. And anyone who took a long, they are really kind of draining their mental capacity just watching price action at the moment. And not to say it won't draw higher, but this is nothing valid of what we would look for. What's that Chinese clan? The fighting clan. That's apparently very skilled in China. What's it called? They wear the black capes. No, not Kung Fu. Not Wong Tang. Begins with C, I think. Chang something. Weng Chung something. Yeah, something along those lines. Chang. I don't know. Nah, who cares? It's only a Monday, guys, first trading day of the month. There is no reason why you should be sat on the edge of your chair right now trying to force a invalid or improper position. Okay, we are just monitoring price, and if there is an opportunity, we do take it. I've seen some funny things, in my experience of watching other people get ready for the New York session, Even in the early days, I used to drink a Red Bull or have some caffeine or try mentally get ready for the New York session. There is no reason why you should ever try mentally get ready for the New York session. There is nothing that goes to it apart from the steps that you apply every single day. It should be nothing new. Nothing happens in price action that I see for the first time. You do not have to drink 5 Red Bulls and 5 coffees. Okay. You just need to follow the same steps every single day. Nothing changes. And if you're unfamiliar with those steps, then you need to just backtest a little bit. But you guys are watching me live, so you're getting the full process and learning simultaneously. So obviously the second day of macro, there's been no positions, okay, and price is currently accumulating, going in towards the third macro of the lunch. I'd like to see price manipulate towards the low, and that would be personal preference, which would then follow with our bias. Okay, so we'll see whether we get that. As far as the apartment, we made some upgrades, and I threw that egg chair away, and it is coming on. Now, I've installed a bench, two 40 kg dumbbells, also dumbbells ranging from 50 pounds down to 5. I won't use the 5s. I don't even use them for delt raises, but we have those dumbbells there and the 40 kgs for the chest, and a dip station, an ab section, and a pull-up bar all in one section. So between the macros, you can just bang out a few reps, you know. Did you put the egg chair in the lift? No, I left outside of my door, and when I came back yesterday from Bangkok, I wasn't able to use the lift because they banned me, so I had to pay the fine. I paid the fine. Take a pic of the setup. Okay, I will. One sec. Yeah, to use the lift, you know, they use a face scan, so a face ID for the lift, and they removed me from it for leaving the egg chair outside my door. You know, why remove me from the face scan? You could just ask me to pay a fine, you know, it's not a problem. Alright. That was my intention anyway. I wanted to get the fine because I didn't want to take the egg chair down myself. Alright, so let me get a photo. Show you guys what we're dealing with right now. So we're coming to the end of the second day of macro now, guys. Obviously there's no positions inside of the second AM, so we're going to be waiting for the lunch. What do you think? Do you guys listen to similar music? At the start of the stream today, you guys heard the music of what I usually listen to. I have a very much mixture of music taste. What do you guys listen to? Put some tunes in the chat. Yeah, R3. Yeah, I mean, I discovered, must have discovered him a few months ago, to be honest. Absolute banger. I mean, I got my favourite tunes at the moment from him. Taylor Swift. I think Taylor Swift's got some bangers, you know. Ariana Grande's got some bangers as well. I'm not even joking. They actually do have bangers. Like when I wouldn't listen to it as far as sitting in my room, but when I'm on the bike, for those of you that ride bikes, the bike music's always different to the music that you listen to in the gym. And the gym music's always different to the music that you listen to when you're in your apartment. Lift equals elevator. What do you guys call it? It's the same thing, right? Elevator, lift. It's a lift. It lifts you into the air. It's just a lift. What kind of speakers? I just put an AirPod in, to be honest. I have one AirPod and I always put it in the right ear. Yeah, I don't know. What do you recommend? Because I've seen sometimes the AirPod is fine, but if I exceed 200, yeah, once I go past 200 kilometers an hour, it is difficult to actually hear the music from the AirPod. But if you're cruising around 150 or 100, you can hear the music fine. 2 AirPods is, I don't like that because I can't hear the bike, but one AirPod's fine. I was thinking there is some headphones that you can get. I don't know if there's any different ones which I'll be able to hear when I'm going like 250, 300. Should be pretty mad. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The bone headphones. I just don't know how that would work with the helmet. Get wired AirPods, bro, because AirPods cause cancer. That is very true, yeah. Could you see yourself in a box Chevy? What's that? Is that a car? Got a few gay flags there. I don't know what's going on with this box Chevy. Oh, is that like the LA kind of Snoop Dogg cars? Probably not, no. Oh yeah, the picture of the condo. Okay, one sec. Yeah, so that's the trading setup. So basically the laptop is for the Discord, so you guys have Discord there, and the monitor above, which you can see, is for monitoring price. So NQ on the left, ES on the right, and the screen that I shared to you guys. And then the other screen, which looks like a massive phone, which is upside down, is for my executions. And I run Apex at the top on one account on the Apex, and if I execute on the one Apex, it then runs it through Trade Syncer through all of my Apex, Take Profit, My Fund of Futures, Alpha Futures, and Top Step. So it's all under there. Oh, there we go, apparently. So maybe you guys can hear me now. Mic is working. Yeah, so from me sending a photo into the chat on my phone for you guys, it stopped me from then using the mic on the laptop, which was kind of weird. So I don't know what was going on there, but it seems to be fine. You guys can hear me all good now, yeah? I went onto my phone on the live stream, and then I sent the photo of the trading setup. So you're going to keep this place a while in Pattaya? Well, I leased it for the year, and I paid the upfront for the whole year, but it doesn't mean I'm going to stay here for the year, no. So I'll be taking trips back and forth from Dubai, acquiring more apartments, and eventually moving completely to Dubai. Yeah, someone asked me the other day, what was it? The camera, the webcam camera that I use for recordings. I use Sony, the Sony FX3 cinema line. 2470, 2490 lens. Yeah. But you can use any sort of camera really. This one's it's a bit big. Where's the face cam today? It's positioned to the right of my desk. Does it not show in the photo? Oh no, it doesn't. Yeah, it's on the right of my desk. Oh no, not face cam for the stream. So that camera doesn't actually, it's not hooked up to my laptop. It records it onto a chip. You don't travel with this trading setup? Yeah, I do, yeah. So both these monitors, they fit into, I have 3 suitcases. 2 suitcases, 1 monitor on each. Yeah, I can be out of the door with this trading setup within 20 minutes. Yeah, so wherever I go, when I take a trip to Dubai, I might be going to Dubai on Friday actually, matter of fact. And I would take these monitors with me. So both these monitors would go as well, yeah. How often do you smoke? Cigars? Probably one every 2 days. But I smoke every day. I'll smoke a cigar every 2 days. Yeah, I smoke shisha every day. Okay, so it's currently 11:30. We got another 10 minutes until we get onto bias. Yeah, as far as a trading setup, you don't need nothing crazy, guys. You just need a 28-inch monitor, one flip monitor that flips up like a big phone, and a laptop. I always recommend getting a MacBook. Yeah, it's really personal preference. However you wanna run it. But yeah, if you're gonna buy a MacBook, definitely get the MacBook Pro, 100%. That's the one that you're gonna want. You got Damon pulling up to the airport. You know, he's midway through the New York session, just with his in a Starbucks in the airport, and he just whips that out. That's probably a similar setup to testosterone. I reckon testosterone probably whips that out in the gym. Leo's in the airport right now. Testosterone probably took too much test. Passed out. Alright, yes guys, so I've just unmuted the mic. Let's see what the chat's saying. Yeah, so as of now, obviously we are in a period of accumulation. Price on ES has drawn higher and taken the point of buy side, which you can see here, which is just a 1 minute reference high, which forms a bearish SMT on NQ, NQ being the weaker asset. Now, with NQ being in this accumulation period, it is not going to be a opportunity for us to follow with our bullish bias, which we're going to determine as of now. There is no model, hence why I've done my bias slightly later. So the daily is bullish, the 4 hours bullish, the hourly is bullish. That's a bullish bias already. Okay, 15 minute, not trading in any bearish gaps, bullish gaps in fact. Took a 15 minute high on the ES, neutralized 15, so it's neutral. 5 minute bullish, ES took a high from being bullish, neutral. So lower time frame neutral, higher time frame bullish, 100% bullish bias off the higher time frame. So you can just edit these to be neutral. How is the 4 hour bullish? So we are trading out of a 4 hour bullish gap, so the 4 hour is bullish. We are assuming that gets respected until it gets inversed. So pairing with a bullish bias, you want to see a sweep of sell side, okay? Price is traded out of that bearish order block, it's been respected, so we want to see price draw to the point of sell side, and then from that point we can follow it with our bullish bias for longs. So far today we've been absolutely, you could say, a perfectionist as usual. You know, we follow the model 1 of 1 and it has caused us to have avoidable losses, yet time and time after again of seeing other people get stopped out, and we always succeed with following the steps and not trading outside of the model. Okay, so don't know who you guys were following in the past, but you will potentially see a lot of people take positions that I don't take. I take far less positions, but the positions that we take are a lot more high probability and according to the model that we look for. So today we're currently sat at break even, whilst others are sat at a loss. So we are in a very favourable position just from following the model. Simple. Now, other ICT traders might see this as a short, and I'm not saying this short won't play out, but it's not following the bias. The bias is bullish. So price action is more in favour to draw higher. Okay. Milo, your mic is bugging. Is it? Shall I throw it off and get another one? This mic, I'm using the. Do you guys recommend any other mics? I'm using the HyperX mic. I got recommended this one. Don't know if there is any other mics I should get. Blue Yeti. I'll take a look. I will take a look. This mic's done me well though. I've not had any complaints. No one said the mic's bad, so. The internet connection in my apartment is actually one of the best internet connections that I've ever had. Better than Miami, better than Texas, better than anywhere. I've got a 750 download speed and a 680 upload speed. So I'd say that's relatively good. Yeah, for me, internet speed's quite a big thing, and this internet's really good. When I'm switching through time frames, especially if I'm about to take a position, I don't want any sort of delays within entering into a position, monitoring time frames, etc. So it's very important for me to have a quick. You got a 70 download. You see there, right? Poor ICT traders just getting stopped out of taking a short, they would watch the 2022 and see a shift on NQ and ES, a gap on both, a sweep of buy side on ES, a bearish SMT on NQ, and they would take a short, but following a bullish bias, price is obviously probable to draw higher towards buy side. Now, obviously, as a preference, we want to see it draw back towards sell side, and a sweep of sell side following bullish bias is exactly what we look for. But taking a short right now, okay, more times than not, and you guys have been watching my streams now for what? Some of you guys 3 weeks, and you're really starting to see how many times and time after again. It's not like we're missing positions, we are saving money. So you guys are seeing it time and time after again of these low probability models just failing and failing and failing, and then we take high probability positions which still fail at some points. It's based off probability, but more times, very, very much more times than not, our positions are extremely higher probability than these ones. Okay. We can't hear you. Okay, right. Maybe you can't hear me. Fresh cut. I got a fresh cut yesterday. I recommend fresh cut to leave the stream and rejoin. If any of you guys experience audio issues, and majority of people can hear me, then make sure that you just leave and rejoin. Yeah, Leo, whereabouts did you say you are? What airport again? Leaving Cancun. How did you find Cancun? Spent a bit of time in Coco Bongo, yeah, with a few Latinas. Come on. Right. Okay, so some people are saying that they can't see my screen. Okay, I will stop sharing and reshare. That should fix the issue. Let me know if you can see my screen now. Should be fine. Yeah, Leo, did you get down in Coco Bongo, yeah? There's a few good clubs down. You know, I like Mexico. I think it's very much like it. Mexico's not as dangerous as people think, especially down near Cancun and, you know, Playa del Carmen. You'll be perfectly fine. You know, as long as you're a civilian, then you're fine. But as soon as you head up to the north, that's some of the worst place in the world. Well, it is the worst place in the world. It's no worse than Mexico. No, Mexico's not shit. Mexico's very, very nice. I love it. I'm just saying, as far as being dangerous, Mexico's the most dangerous place in the world if you go up to the north. But if you're in Cancun and Playa del Carmen and Tulum, very, very nice. Zoom? What's wrong with the Discord, the Discord streams? I'm pretty sure we have one of one, no delays. We're streaming in 1440p and we've got 120 FPS. I'm pretty sure Discord's got to be the best, you know. We used to actually stream on YouTube, in fact, back in the days. For those of you who've been watching for a while, we used to be on YouTube, you know, with a 5-second delay. Discord is the best. We won't be switching. Yeah, so obviously with our bullish bias, you know, backtest the bias. It's the most high probability way of determining bias. It then draws towards buy side and draws higher. Okay, so simple stuff. We got a Zoom is gay comment and some fire emojis coming in there. I've never really used Zoom, to be honest. Not been a Zoom person. Two monitors is game changing. It is. Alright, swept buy side. Let's have a re-look at the 5-minute is bearish. The 15-minute is neutral. 1 hour is bullish and the higher time frame remains the same. Only the 5 changed. Still bullish. So the only ones you got to flick through when you're inside a macro is really 5 and 15 and potentially look at the hourly. That's it. How do you quickly determine how many contracts you should enter with when having a fixed risk? So following the risk management funded, whether you're funded or on the eval, essentially when you are taking the position, if you're setting a stop placement, which you pre-look at before you take the trade, if you're setting a 20 or 30 handle stop, you then go on to your risk management sheet. It will say 20 or 30 handles and it will say your position size and you take the position. And that will get you to be risking the fixed dollar amount of 300 or 400 on the evals. Yeah, it's a lot easier, as Noah's saying, it's a lot easier to lock in with one female than run five at the same time. It is not a task that you want to do. If you're trying to lock in and really develop as a person, it is time consuming to run a roster, or whatever you call it, of 4 or 5 females at the same time. It is a task, because every single day you're going to have to see one of them, and I know they obviously think they've only seen you once this week, but really you're seeing one every day, so it's very draining for you as a person. It's not worth your time. It's best to just lock in with one or two, If you can get two which are happy with each other, great. But 4 or 5 is just really, it's an overkill. One's the best. One's really the best, because then you can really lock in. You don't really have anything mentally outside that you're thinking about, Am I religious? Yeah, I read the Bible every day. I'm getting more and more knowledgeable about it day by day, but I don't want to speak on that topic yet, because I'm not fully knowledgeable about it. But I'm currently reading John at the moment. Yeah, and obviously there is some things, or many things that I've done in the past which commits very, very much many sins inside of the Bible. So I'm cutting back on my sinnable behaviour. It gets boring after a while, you know what I mean? Yeah, but before you lock in with one, you got to lock in with 5, and then you pick the one. That's how it works, and then you post that one on your story, and then boom, the other 4 drop off, and you're locked in with one. So yeah, you got caught trying to slip a finger in the other night at the club. Yeah, I did. Yeah, 4K. I don't really go to the club, to be honest, but when I was in Bangkok, I went up there, and I was in the club for a little bit, and then I left. Now we are back in the trading cave. But yeah, you can't always be locked in 99% of the time. You do have to hit the club, say, even if you do it once every 2 weeks or once a month or whatever. However you enjoy yourself, whether you rip the bike down the street or something, you can't just sit in your room all day. Alright, so I mean, the lunch macro so far has not given us any opportunities. It has obviously been a lunch macro where we've seen, yet again, another low probability model fail. Same as the first day of macro, we've seen a long low probability model for longs fail, so that's 2 avoidable losses, and we are currently sat break even on the day with no positions taken. Now yes, it can be, potentially gets boring for someone new to monitoring price, because they're not used to this kind of behavior when it comes to monitoring price with taking less positions. They're used to taking 2 or 3 trades per day. But it's definitely something that you'll get used to, and you'll build patience, and especially once you have the capital behind you, and you do see that we, for even last week with 1 winning trade, however we closed last week, it was over 2R profit, 2.2R. We had a 2.4R trade. Okay, that one trade alone, if you're running multiple 50k accounts, you are just fine. You are 50k, 70k plus on the week alone. So, you won't watch many people trade live, similar to the way that I trade live. I don't know really anyone in the space that I know of. I know a lot of people who trade live. How much did you guys close up last week? Let's get some of those in the chat. Let's see how much you guys closed up last week, or just a rough estimate. Obviously, it's nothing crazy, it's just the average of 1 winning trade per week, but that was last week. So 2.8k, 706. We got like a concerning face of ICT there. 3k, 4.5, 408, 4.2. You know, it's good to see. Yeah, guys, so this is going to lead us towards the end of the lunch macro. I'm not going to take any more of you guys' time. You know, we've monitored these 3 macros. We have executed our thought process absolutely to perfection, as we always do. And there's not been any positions for us to take as of the Monday today. Okay, so we will be back tomorrow on the Tuesday, and I will speak to you guys shortly inside of that session as well. It's been great speaking with you guys today. Answered some very good questions. I'll upload this stream as usual on YouTube if you want to rewatch it at a given time. Okay, until tomorrow, guys, I will speak to you shortly. Take it easy.